So here's my little mini surface grinder with a lot of upgrades. So let's see, table, it's scraped dead flat within a 10,000th. Linear rail beds scraped flat. The main waves all scraped flat. So let's see. Replace this thing had a stupid little knob, and I replaced it with a, turn that off and turn the shaft down, replaced it with a proper handle. So we have the nice motion there. So this is 8 inches in the X, 5 inches in the Y. Okay, so the main motor, it tilts on this axis. The column here tilts on this axis, so I can actually rotate this thing 90 degrees this way and flip the motor around, so I could do motor facing this way, so I could do stuff. Yeah, so one of the neat things this came with was this cylindrical grinding attachment, which swivels there, it swivels here, and it has a pretty nice set of bearings in it. So I'm ordering a Morse taper ER collet chuck, so I could stick things like valves in there and do multi-angle valve jobs and other fun stuff. Oh, and drill sharpening and mill sharpening, those sort of things. So that's cool. Yeah, so that's this thing. Let's see, 270 millimeter travel, which is actually a lot. So yeah. So I got my little mini surface grinder painted and partially assembled, and I got a longer video I'm putting together, but I just need to edit it. But just here's a little quick heads up. Yeah, so basically last year I bought this thing, took it apart, scraped in all of the mating surfaces, scraped the table, scraped the ways, scraped the linear rail beds, got everything perfectly aligned. This is actually pretty cool. The table is actually flat within a 10,000th, so pretty happy about that. Glides like butter. So yeah, so I'll probably go ahead and assemble this guy sometime this week and try and put together a little longer video that explains what I did. So why, yes, this is a 10,000th indicator. And that's a piece of lapped carbide that I'm using to indicate on the table. So yeah, the table here is showing under a 10,000th of deviation across its entire travel. So pretty happy with my scraping job. So a couple of the modifications I made to this grinder was, first, I added proper bump stops to this. When I first got this guy, the grinder had no bump stops, and literally the only thing stopping the table was it was crashing into the bearing cages in the linear rails. So of course that destroyed the bearing cages and cracked them all up. So I got these. These are hood stops out of a Ford Ranger pickup, and made these plates here, tapped some holes, and then these just screw into there, and then you can adjust them, and they bump into the cast iron body here and give you a nice positive lock. Then I made this dust cover here for the back. I formed this out of aluminum sheet, welded it together, and then tapped some holes in there, and that goes onto there to keep dust from getting into the ways. So one of the neat things that this grinder came with is it came with this cylindrical grinding attachment, which has nice bearings in there, and has a Morse taper there. So what I'm going to do with this guy is I'm going to order an ER collet chuck so I could stick things like valves in there and do a neat multi-angle grind on valves and play around with that. So yeah, I think, I mean, for now, I will just spin it by hand, but maybe eventually I might stick some sort of a band on there and another little small stepper motor type thing to have a power cylindrical grinding.